over to David, and he will tell you everything you need to know. This is being recorded, so you can go back, and there she is. I didn't mark it. So he will go ahead and take it away.
All right, so hello everyone, welcome to the class. We don't have that much time, so we're going to kind of fly through a few things. I'm not sure how much he told you already, but my name is David Bitton. I'm the CEO here actually at PracticePanther.com, one of the top 3 largest case management softwares for attorneys and paralegals worldwide. So if you just joined us, there is a link on the screen right now where you can actually go and join the webinar on your actual computers, because we're going to be doing some surveys and polls and some fun stuff. So we'll see who's who in the class. All right, then if anyone comes late, just have them show them. Also, when you join the webinar, there's a section on the sidebar where you can ask questions. So feel free anytime, ask as many questions as you want, and at the end, I'm going to go and cover all the questions that you have. I'll also give you my personal email, so you can always feel free to reach out at the end. And one last thing, this webinar is recorded, so we will be emailing it to you afterwards, so you can always review it, and we will also be giving you the download link to view the whole PowerPoint at the end if you ever want to review. All right, so the webinar is split up into 2 parts. Part 1 is a little bit about like life as a paralegal, and then part 2 is a little bit more about our software and using the software in a law firm. So this is just a little background about us. This is me and my partner. We started the company about 5 years ago, raised $3.5 million, and now we're in over 35 countries worldwide. And pretty much this is how the software looks like. The whole goal for us was to make it as easy to use, as simple and intuitive as possible. A lot of you look pretty young, but probably the people you're going to be working for are not so young, maybe not so tech savvy. So it was very important for us that from day one, the software is super easy to use. Anyone can use it, just like you turn on your iPhone, you know how to use it. Same thing with our software. That's the main goal. There's a ton of features and powerful things you can do in the software. A lot of software that have these features. You can manage your contacts and matters, documents, have a client portal, bill your clients, collect payments from your clients. It does everything for you these days. So imagine getting rid of Microsoft Word, Excel, Dropbox, PayPal. All that stuff is combined into one software now, making it really easy for you and the attorneys to use. That's the main goal. So we're going to start it off with a little poll that's going to pop up on your screens. When are you graduating and starting to work? So I know a few of you are graduating next month, which is pretty awesome. Congrats, that's exciting. And a few of you have some more time as well. So it looks like majority are saying next month. So we're going to close the poll out and share the results. All right, so 50% of you are graduating next month. Let's make some noise if you're graduating. Woo! Yeah, congratulations. You've made it pretty far, so you should be very proud of yourselves. And now the next challenge of your life is to find a job that you do what you love. So it's very important to do what you love every single day. You can obviously tell that I have a lot of passion for what I do. I love coming to work every day, and that's what you have to feel. You have to feel that you love coming to work, especially when you have, a little office dog sitting here in the corner. It's fun. Make life fun. It doesn't have to be so stressful. You could actually enjoy what you do in life. I know, crazy. So the biggest challenge is, yeah.
Excuse me, the crowd is going nuts. They would love another shot of the dog.
Shot of the dog. Okay, she's a sommelier. So let's show her.
Well, that's true, yeah. Oh my God. Great dog. Wow.
Her name is Nala. She is the team mascot. It's funny actually. Whenever we put up social media posts on Instagram or Facebook of like how to start your own firm, how to grow, it gets like 50 likes, whatever. When we put up a picture of her, 200 likes, 200 comments. People go crazy. So basically, when you graduate, you want to find your passion. So there's a really good saying I love: choose a job you love, and you will never work a day in your life. And that is so true. Now, what you need to start thinking of is, what is your ideal job? Who do you want to work for? What practice areas do you love? Now, if you don't know this yet, you will find out. But from what I spoke to Keith about, there's a lot of people in this class that are maybe a little bit older than you, have more experience, and have had jobs in the past. So don't feel like you can't talk to them because your age is different. They have so much knowledge. Let them be your mentor. Let them teach you all the mistakes they've made. Let them help you find your path. They would love to help you and mentor you, I'm sure. So definitely ask them. Also, getting an internship, if you haven't had one yet, if you still have some time, it can kind of help you see what you want to do in life. So it's very important. Now, the next thing that's going to be very important is learning what a unique value proposition is. How many people have heard of a unique value prop? Raise your hand. Not many. All right. So in business, it's very important that you stand out. You be different. So a lot of attorneys have 30 different options for software. Why should they choose us? They should choose us because we are the easiest to use. If they care about ease of use, they should choose us. So it's the same for you. When you're graduating soon, why should an employer hire you as a paralegal? What makes you different than everyone else? Okay, now, very important thing, a lot of people just call themselves paralegals. They never went to school, they never had certification, they call themselves paralegals. So you guys should know that you're one of the very few that have actual proper professional training on the subject, which is amazing. So use this to stand out. Now, I have a picture of a purple cow because you want to be that purple cow. You want to stand out from the stack of resumes that people get every single day. And this purple cow is actually from a really good book by Seth Godin called Purple Cow. It teaches you how to stand out, how to brand yourself as well. Now, being a paralegal isn't just about coming to work 9 to 5, having a job and going up. I mean, it could be, but if you want to really excel in life, you want to give value, you want to be really, really good at your job, get involved. Go to networking events. There are tons of networking events for paralegals. They all know each other. So I was talking with Keith earlier, and he's like, oh, I know Ernie, I know this person, that person. Like, it's a very small industry. Everyone knows everyone. So when you go to these events, they will know you as well. Now, keep in mind, if you're not happy with your current job, you'll have so many connections at other firms through other paralegals you've met that one day when you're looking to do something else, you have all those people you can ask for help. So BNI is a good networking event. I looked at meetup.com, and there were 2 events, meetups in Miami, Florida for paralegals. So you always want to check these resources. NALA.org is a big paralegal association. And I know that I was talking with Keith about Legal Talk Network. They have great podcasts for paralegals. They have a paralegal podcast. So get involved and do your homework. Now, this is a very important slide I love, where a judge tells an attorney, I need an answer, and he says, hold on, I'm texting my paralegal. This is so true. You guys don't realize how important you are to a law firm. You are the right-hand person of every attorney in the law firm. You are the ones that are making this thing run. If it's not, you can make or break a law firm. Now, for the girl who just joined us in the back, when she gets settled, someone help her out. She can go to this. Sorry to call you out. So, she can go to this link, and she can join us at bit.ly/Keith Shannon. I'll put it back on the screen in a few minutes. So your job, attorneys in the real world are really busy. They're trying to find new business. They're trying to actually get work done. They're really busy, and they don't want to deal with all this other stuff like billing clients, collecting money from clients. So it's your job as a paralegal to take as much work off their plate as possible so they can be less stressed and be happier with their jobs in their life. So you can handle billing and collections, but not only doing what they tell you to do, if you want to separate yourself and be the best, help them grow their business. Give them ideas. Say, hey, there's a really good BNI event. There's a really good networking group I think me or you should go to. Help them. They want this help. They're looking for this advice. Help optimize their firm. Now, paralegals are so important that clients end up being afraid of you because you are the ones that are chasing them down for payment. So I love this slide with Liam Neeson. And it's so true. This is your job. Attorneys, it's crazy. Attorneys, let's say, will bill $100,000 a year. They'll only collect maybe 60, 70% of that. There's a lot of money going to waste. So if you can come in and get the attorney 10% more money, you just covered your salary. you just made yourself a bonus. It's very important that you're very good at this part. Now, like I said before, you never want to burn bridges. Like I said with Keith, everyone knows everyone in the industry. So all the attorneys, they talk. If you're a great paralegal, they're going to say you are the best paralegal. They're going to talk about you so much. And guess what? One day when they might close their firm or do something else, or you're looking for a different job, you have all these connections already. You don't want to burn those bridges. Now, this is really important. No one thinks about this. Opposing counsel. You're going to be on the phone a lot with your competitors, opposing counsel on the other side of the case. Don't be mean. Don't be nasty. That opposing counsel could be your next employer. So keep that in mind always. Now, we have a funny poll coming up right now. Have any of you watched The Prophet or the Partner with Marcus Lemonis? So answer the survey. Looks like a lot of people watch Shark Tank. That's good. All right, so let's share it. So looks like no one has watched the show, so it's a pretty interesting show.
Wait a minute. I didn't get to
Ahead.
participate. I'm the only one in the room that watches that show.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. So it's a really good show to watch. These shows are good because they teach you a lot about business processes. So Marcus Lemonis he believes in three things: people, the product, and the process. Now, the process is what you want to normally fix in a law firm. You come in to help the attorneys with their overall process. It's your main job and responsibility to find new ways to get more done faster, to help automate your job so you could free up more time for other things. I'll give you a few examples. A client will come into your office, and what do you normally do? Just like at a dentist or doctor office, you hand them a paper form, fill it out. They fill it out, they give it back to you. Now you have 10 minutes work typing it in. That's a waste of time. Give them an iPad with an intake form on it. It automatically goes into your software, and you can click it one button to generate a retainer agreement. So in 10 seconds, you just save yourself 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's amazing. Just for one little easy thing you can do. Attorneys, the old school attorneys, they send their invoices by hand, Microsoft Word, Excel. So guess who's doing those invoices? You are. And guess how long it's going to take you? About 8 hours a month. In our software, you can click one button and it's done. Generated, sent to the client, and number 3, you don't need to follow up with the customers. It has automated payment reminders. So the whole goal is that using software, using technology today can help you automate the entire firm. Going paperless is a big one as well. I spoke to Keith about that before. So the important thing to understand is that time is literally money for attorneys. They normally charge on average $250 an hour. So if you can save them 8 hours a month, you just save them $2,000 of billable time they can use to make more money. So that's the important part. Now, if you show the attorney, hey, listen, it takes me or it takes you 7 hours a month to generate invoices, this technology or software can do it in one click, so I just saved you $1,600 of billable time. Or my hourly salary would have saved you $150, $200 a month just from one piece of a software, and that will pay for whatever you're trying to get accomplished in the firm. A lot of the attorneys will want to be, I want to say, frugal. They want to save money, but if you can show them that time is money and it will help save me time and you time, then they'll appreciate it and understand why there's value. Now, very important, how to make yourself valuable. There's a few really important ways to become valuable in a law firm. Now, I want everyone to put a reminder on their phones later on when they end up graduating and working at a firm. Come back to these slides because there's going to be a lot of tips that are going to be really relevant when you start working at the firm. So here are some examples. Help automate the firm. Put in new processes to get more done faster, like new software. Give marketing ideas. A lot of you look pretty young. You're probably very into the social media scene. Help them out. They probably don't have a Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Maybe they can get clients that way. Help them out. Just throwing a random example out. There's a guy in Miami who is a traffic ticket attorney. There's a million of these guys. But what makes him different? Every week he puts a video on Facebook about a different tip of the week of how to avoid traffic tickets, how to get out of traffic tickets. If you got a red light camera, how can you get out of the ticket? So this guy is always on the top of my head. So anytime someone has a ticket, who do you think I'm referring? I'm referring him. So it's very important that you bring the same ideas to your attorney and you help set them up with that. A lot of attorneys have horrible websites. You can help them build a new one. Now, not building it yourself, but teaching them how to build it, where to do it from. Line someone up. It will cost $2,000. It will take 2 weeks. Do this stuff for them. Do blog posts for them. Outsource it for them. Hire a videographer to come into the office, take videos of them. All these things are ways you can bring value. Last but not least, you can become a notary public, which is also very, very, very useful to have in a firm. Now, there's a lot of resources. I'm just going to fly by because we're not going to cover these now. But when you do download the presentation and when you do work for a law firm, I definitely urge you to come back to these slides, go to these links on top, and a lot of these will help you help the attorneys out. So productivity tools, how to increase their AVO profile score, which is really important, how to hire a blog writer. These are all really good resources that we give away for free. So one day when you work at a law firm, come back to this. Or even if you are working for a firm today, use these resources. They're very, very helpful. Now, a quick poll, last poll for the day. How many of you have worked at a law firm or have had an internship already at a law firm? What's pretty cool is that it looks like about a fifth of the class actually works at a firm today, right now. So talk to those people. Those people are in the trenches. They're working at a firm right now. Talk to them. Get advice from them. Where can you get a job? What do you recommend I do? I'm not really sure what I want to do. These are people that could help guide you. And for the third of the class that hasn't had an internship before or any legal experience, if you still have time, definitely get an internship. Ask the people in your class that work for a firm, do they have any interns available? Would they like any interns available? Even if it's free, it will get you so much real-world experience. It will help so much. Now, experience does matter in the workplace. So I'm going to go to the next slide. How to find a job or internship. So there's a lot of ways you can find online. But the biggest thing you can do, reach out to your whole network, reach out to other students, put it on Facebook, blast your resume out. But there's a ton of websites that law firms are using to find you. So you have to be everywhere. When someone searches these sites, you should be on all of these sites. Now, you're valuable. Don't forget. You don't want to just get any job. The worst thing you could say for an interview is, why do you want this job? I want to make money. No, you want to be happy. Making money isn't everything in life. You want to make money and be happy with what you do. So don't just take the first job that comes to you. Let them know, I'm looking at my options. I have a few options. I'm looking around. I want to find the best job for me. Keep in mind, they're interviewing you, but you're also really interviewing them. No one likes working for a nasty attorney that's very stressed out all the time. It's not fun. So also interview them. See if you want to work there. It's equally as important. Now, I was talking to Keith about this. There's a great website called lawyerist.com, and they have an article for attorneys that says how to hire a paralegal. What questions you should ask a paralegal. And one of the questions was, ask them if they took a law office management class. Have they learned any programs? It teaches paralegals quality management and exactly how a firm should operate. So I have to congratulate Keith Shannon. He's one of the very few, like less than 5% of teachers in the U.S. that actually put a very big emphasis on this because it's so important. And it's crazy that no one else does this. So you're very lucky that you have someone as good, a good mentor and teacher like him that is pushing you to learn these things because it will help you so much. So it looks like we have still a lot of time. So we will get into the next section, which is a little bit about our software, a little bit about law office management software, and generally what are the benefits of using a software and why you should use a software. So obviously, automation is key. You want to get more done in less time. You want to stay organized and ultimately save yourself and the attorney a lot of time and money. Now, a lot of attorneys are already using a lot of different programs in their office. Gmail, Google Calendar, QuickBooks, PayPal, Dropbox, Outlook. This is literally how a law firm runs. They have a million things all over the place. So when they're using one software that integrates with all of these other programs they're already using, they just have to log into one software a day that already syncs with everything else. And that's the beauty of it. Calendaring is very important. Now, a lot of you are still new in the industry, but you will start to find out that one of the biggest reasons that lawyers get malpractice lawsuits or bar complaints is missed deadlines. They miss a lot of deadlines because they're not that organized as you might think. So it's your job as well to help them never forget a deadline. So with the software, you can do a lot of really cool things. You could sync your business calendar with your personal calendar. You could have all your meetings and calendars and appointments and deadlines on your phone. You can get email reminders, text message reminders, pop-up reminders. Like if you forget something, you should never forget anything anymore with a software like this. The other cool thing is you can now see everyone's calendar in the firm really easily. What is the paralegal doing today? What is the attorney doing today? What's the schedule for everyone? A new client calls in. You can schedule things for them easily without shouting across the room because you can see their schedule. So it makes life a lot easier in the actual firm. And this is just an example of how you can do reminders, email reminders, text message reminders, pop-up reminders. There's no excuse to forget anything ever again. That's the goal. Easy. You have to figure out how to add time entries easily. So what typically happens is in the typical law firm, the attorney will give you a big sheet of paper. I'm sure some of you are going to laugh and say, here are all my time entries for the day. Put them in Excel. It's really annoying. It takes a lot of time. And then at the end of the month, what happens with Excel? You have to transfer that over to Microsoft Word and make an invoice. It's very time consuming. But now with the software, you have one page where you can quickly add everything in. This is the goal, guys. Help you automate the firm, make things easier. The cool thing is you could track time for the attorney, or they can track their own time from a computer, from their phone, from any device, an iPad. So instead of you doing all the work, they can also help out and do some of the time tracking themselves as well. Now, a very cool thing we love, which I'm sure a lot of you will appreciate if you're working at law firms right now. This is one of the biggest problems. You send an invoice out to a customer and they never pay you. So what is your job? You're going to have to call and call and call. Did you get the invoice? Did you get the invoice? And I'm sure a lot of you can tell me, what do they say? No, I never got it. I don't know. Send it to me again, which obviously is a lie. So the cool thing that we built in for you guys that you're going to love is when they view the invoice, you get an alert that they viewed the invoice. So you know when they viewed it, what time and day they viewed it, and how many times they viewed it. So they can't lie to you anymore. You know they're getting it, and it will help you automate your reminders as well. It's a little bit creepy, but paralegals love it. Okay? And conflict search. So raise your hand if you know what a conflict search is. Okay, good. Not bad. So very important. Whenever someone new calls in the law firm, whenever they call the office, you're probably the first person taking those calls. And you're going to ask them for their name, email address, all the information. You're going to get the case information, if there's a judge, who's opposing counsel, all this information. Now, you have to look up all these names in your documents and all your documents. You have to search for all these names to make sure there's no conflicts of interest. So usually it's a very tedious, long process. But with the software, you just type in the names, you click enter, and it shows you everything in the entire software. All the companies and contacts and tasks and events and meetings and emails and time entries and notes, everything you've ever done in the firm will show up right away to let you know in 5 seconds or less if there's any conflicts. So it just makes your job a lot easier. Now, these days, all the law firms are becoming very tech savvy. The modern ones, I should say, at least, the modern ones. So it's your job to bring the law firm into the 21st century. It's 2017, they should be using this technology. So one of the coolest things that are available today is something called the client portal. Clients love this because they can go to your website, they can log into their client portal, and it will show them all the invoices, all the payments, how much money they have in their trust account, their to-do list, all their upcoming meetings, everything is here. So you could set this up for them, and they love that because they love transparency. So when you go to a law firm, or if you're in an interview, you can ask that attorney, do you have online intake forms? Do you have a client portal? Do you have this? Do you have this? If you come prepared to the interview with all these questions, they're going to be like, wow, this person knows what they're doing, and I know that if I hire this person, they're not just going to do what I tell them to do. They're going to help me optimize my firm and set me up for success. That's your end goal, bringing as much value to the law firm as possible through technology. This is two-way encrypted messaging. You can communicate with your clients through secure messages by email as well. Now, this is one of my favorite features that I don't think anyone has right now besides us. A lot of you that work at law firms know that when you have to contact the attorney, you're shouting across the hall, you're calling them, you're conferencing them, you're running to their office. It's very annoying. It's very distracting. So we built an internal chat into the software, like Google Hangouts or like Slack. You have the same thing in our software. You can just chat with the attorneys. You could send them messages. It just makes things so much easier. I'm not sure why no one's copied this yet, but I'm sure they will. And this is pretty cool. Real-time alerts and notifications. So how many of you use Facebook? I'm sure every hand is in the room going to go up. Let's see the hands. Yeah. Guy with the tie. I know you use Facebook. All right. So, so you know, on Facebook, you have like that world icon in the top right that shows you all the alerts and people you follow and all the new activity. We built the same thing in our software, but for law firms. So it's showing you all the real-time activity happening on all the cases that you're following. So did we receive a payment? Are they overdue on their payment? Do we have to call them? Is there a task due today? Is there a meeting today? All the important things you need to know are popping up just like in Facebook. So it's very easy and familiar to you already using a software. Now, very important and very easy for you is you need to know which clients owe you the most money. So you have a simple report that shows you how many people owe you money, how much they owe you, and it makes your job very easy. That's our goal, to make your job as easy as possible. So you have a lot of time to go on Snapchat. I'm just kidding. And what else? Trust account. Very important as well. You need to keep track. This is actually very important. A lawyer can get disbarred if they do not properly manage their trust account. So they have to know how much money they have in their trust account for every client and every matter, and we make it very simple with very easy reports. Now, I showed you how you can save the attorney thousands of dollars, how they could save hours of work, and a lot of old legacy softwares used to cost about $10,000 a year per person in the firm, but things have come down, and we're probably one of the more affordable programs in the market. So if you could guess how much this costs, I'm sure you'd probably say a few $100s a month, but it's only $49 a month per person in the firm. It's a joke. It's the cost of dinner. You know, it's very affordable. The problem that we notice is that attorneys get lazy. They get into their day-to-day routine. They don't have time to optimize their firm. That's the problem. It's not the cost, clearly, as you see. They don't have time. So it's your job to make sure you push things forward. You get the newest technology. You set them up with events and networking events, and you help them with marketing. That is the goal, to be the best paralegal in the world. Now, you're not alone. If you need to learn our software or any other software, all of us have really good support teams. You have account managers. You can email us, contact us in live chat, call us, go to our FAQ and our forum, watch videos. It's very easy to get help, and the whole goal is that it's easy for you to use. Now, I have a little surprise for you. Everyone here in the class will get 6 months free on the house, so you can email this email on file, and you can get 6 months free. And if you are working at a law firm now, I am happy to give you and the law firm 6 months free as well. So go ahead and play around with it and enjoy it. And if you have anyone that's already an attorney that you want to refer to the software and say, hey, I got this great presentation, check it out, you can give them the same guy's email, connect them by email so we know that it was referred by you. Once they get signed up, we will give them 10% off their first year for being referred. And as soon as they pay us $100, we will pay you $100 by PayPal. Sounds pretty nice. That's the referral program. And this is probably the most important slide. So take out your phones and snap a picture of this slide. I want to see all the phones come out. So this is the link to download the presentation. And I definitely recommend putting a calendar reminder in your phone for that day when it comes that you end up working at a law firm to think back, oh yeah, I remember that great presentation. Let me look back and see how I can bring value, how I can network, how I can find a job. This will help you a lot, trust me. And if you ever want to review anything, the recording will be sent to Keith. And if you sign up to the webinar, I have your email, so I will email it to you as well, so you can always review it anytime. It's pretty quick. And we have some homework for you. I know you guys love homework. So one of your things you're going to be doing is going into PracticePanther. I understand that most of you have created free trials. If you have not created a free trial, just go to our homepage, sign up with any email you want. It will create a free trial for you. And this is kind of a day in the life of what you will be doing. Whenever someone new calls, you're going to create a contact. Then you're going to create a matter. You're going to keep track of the case. Then you're going to create a billable time entry. You're going to create an expense, and you're going to generate an invoice. Those 5 things are what you're going to be doing 80% of the day over and over and over again. And we make it really easy. So when you go into the next job interview, you can be like, oh yeah, I've tried PracticePanther, I've used them, I know how to create contacts, matters, time entries, invoices. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the whole system already. They're going to be very impressed because you know what you're doing. You can help them. When you're done with the homework, save the invoice as a PDF or take a screenshot of it and upload it to Blackboard. Now, Keith, do you want to put like a due date on this, Sunday at midnight?
For the homework thing, let me. I'll go ahead and
talk about it after. Yep.
I'll go ahead and assign it with a deadline or a due date later.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay. In terms of questions, does anybody have questions for you guys? I've got some. I like this.
Go ahead.
You can't see me, so it's like the voice of God. There was a few years ago, North Carolina was the only state in the country that had a bar opinion on how to vet software as a service providers for law firms. And now I know that a lot of states have adopted those procedures. Do you all have something that's kind of canned that you know, if a firm is looking at you in North Carolina, do you have something that you can send to them that satisfies all those little tick marks on that that opinion?
Yes, and nowadays what they're really looking for is the security of a lot of these companies, because a lot of these startup software companies have no background in security. They don't know what they're doing in security, so that's why they're very afraid of the data and the cloud and stuff like that. So they have a list of questions that they're going to ask you. Are you HIPAA compliant? Do you have SSL security? Where does the data get backed up? Do you own the data? Who owns the data? If I cancel, do I lose my data? Do you share my data with third parties? All this stuff. Is it encrypted? You know, it's a lot of technical terms. So we normally send them this page on our website, which goes through a lot of it. And if they have specific questions in general, we will answer them one by one. And just a little background on us, our CTO and our co-founder, my partner, he was in the cyber intelligence unit in the Army. So this guy knows security. He's got the same security standards in our software as the military, as online banking. So he's very anal and paranoid about securities, which is why we're usually very law firm, bar associations love us. We're a member benefit in a lot of bars as well. So if you're a member of the Florida bar or New York bar, you also get a certain discount as well in the firm.
So he probably already has a dossier on every student in this room just because of his background.
He probably could find it if he wanted to, yeah. He's crazy like that. He's one of those guys, yeah.
You mentioned the internal communications aspect. Is that basically designed to replace Slack, which a lot of law firms are doing, or would it work with Slack, or how does that work?
So up to you. I mean, some people love Slack. They love the pop-ups, the email, the mobile app. So if they love Slack, use Slack. You know, honestly, we use Slack in our office also. We love Slack. So if they like that, I don't want them to switch. But if they're not using anything, then yes, using our internal chat would be a lot better anyways. But the whole goal is that in a typical law firm, what normally happens is a client calls in. Here we go. Calls in, talks to the paralegal. Oh, thanks so much, and they hang up. Okay. The paralegal might know what's happening, but the attorney has no idea what's happening. Or the attorney talks to a client. The paralegal doesn't know what's happening. So what happens is anytime you talk to a client, anyone in the firm that talks to a client by phone or email, you're going into that client's profile in our software, and you're adding notes. Spoke to the client. They wanted to know what's up with their case. They gave me more information. They want to settle. They want to meet up. All this information is logged. So when the attorney goes in, he knows what's happening already in the case. You could see all the email correspondence, all the things you spoke to them about. So it keeps everyone in the firm in total communication. Everyone knows what's happening at all times in all cases.
Okay, cool. One other thing, or a couple of other things. If someone comes to PracticePanther, you know, so let's say they've already got their next 3 months or next 6 months stored in Outlook on their calendar, and they've already got a bunch of invoices stored on, I don't know, tabs 3 or something like that.
Yep.
What's kind of the transition? Will PracticePanther sync with Outlook and just transfer all that information from the Outlook calendar? And what about other stuff that's already on a server-based system?
Great question. So we have an awesome import team that helps everyone with importing into our software. If they're using Outlook, Gmail, Exchange, the major stuff, it's really easy. We sync with your calendar in one click. We sync with Gmail in one click. It's super, super easy. If they're using other softwares, all we do is help them export their information from another software, and then we import it right here in one click with Excel, and we do it for them pretty much. Give us your files, and we'll put it in for you. We have a whole migration team that's happy to help. We try to make it as easy as possible, obviously.
It sounds like he prompted me to ask that question because the slide was right there and everything. But I promise.
Yeah.
Alicia, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I saw that there's
Hang on just a second.
but I didn't know, is it work good? Like if I were to download the app for this?
Keith, can you repeat the question, please?
You said if you were to download
The app for PracticePanther,
the app for PracticePanther on a cell phone or something?
or like an iPad or something.
Yeah. Do you have an app that would work, on a cell phone or an iPad? And because I guess Alicia's got her 6-month or her trial membership, right? So you want to kind of check it out and see how. And this could be a valuable question because Alicia works for a law firm.
Awesome. Yeah. So here's a screenshot of how our dashboard looks when you log in. This is what you see. And the cool thing is that we do have an iPhone app, and an Android app, and an iPad app, and they're exactly the same as the software. We don't change the look and feel. It's exactly the same. A lot of times with an iPhone app, you only have a few limited capabilities. They don't put all the features. Everything we put in ad is on the iPhone app. So here's the app if you can see on my phone. Now, the cool thing is, on the computer, if you're following both screens, I'm clicking Start Timer on the computer. I think I'm on the same account. Hopefully I am. No, I'm not, I guess. But when I click Start Timer on the computer, if I'm on the same account, it will also start the timer on my phone. So everything syncs together in real time.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I guess I'll show you quickly how to do the homework. Do we have 30 seconds for this?
Sure. We got 5 whole minutes.
Okay, awesome. This will only take a minute. So doing the homework is really easy. Creating a new contact, you can click New on top and select Contact. Pretty self-explanatory. We'll name the contact Keith Shannon, and we will save the contact. The next step when saving a contact is adding a matter, time entry, and a billable expense. So on the top right, you have a button, Create New Matter. Name the matter. So let's do Shannon versus PracticePanther. Hopefully not. You never know. And you have a bunch of information about the matter, how much you're going to charge, what's the due date, all this stuff. We're going to ignore this for now. And we're just going to save the matter for now. Very easy. Now, the next step in adding the matter is adding a time entry. So on the top right of every page, you have a new button. You're going to click New Time Entry. Really simple. This pop-up will open up, and you can start your timer from here, just like that. Or I can just say I want to log 1 hour. I'm just going to put 1, and I'm going to click Save. And I just added a time entry. Really simple. I want to add an expense. I can do New again and click Expense. And this is actually cool for the lady who asked about the iPhone app. If you go somewhere and you are buying something and you want to take a picture of the receipt on the iPhone app, you can add a new expense, take a picture of the receipt, which will attach it to the expense in the software. So one day when the client goes, what's this expense? Oh, I have the receipt actually for the expense. It's all about being organized. So let's add an expense for $100. I will call it court filing fees, and I will save the expense. So far I created a contact, matter, time entry, and expense in under a minute, and now I want to generate an invoice. So all I'm going to do is click New on top and click Invoice. And I'm going to click Generate Invoice. And what this is doing is it just added all my billable time entries that have not been billed yet. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. all my billable expenses that you can see here to an invoice, and in one click, I can click save or email it to the client just like that. It's super simple. That's the idea, guys. We have a really funny saying called KISS, keep it stupid simple. That's the idea. And if this box is checked, which it is by default, it will automatically send payment reminders to the client following up for you. That's the whole idea, automation. So let's email the client. And I don't know if I don't have Keith's email here, so I can't email to him now, but if I had his email, I could email to him directly from the software. And as soon as he opened up that email, I would get a notification right here like you see here. And it would show me that he viewed the invoice just like you see here. And that's it. Pretty easy, right?
Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
so you can do the homework in 2 minutes. That's how you do it. I know we don't have.
We've got
go ahead.
one more quick question. What was it?
Yep.
So what about double entries and failure to be specific on an entry? You're talking about a billing entry or a time entry? Yeah, how specific does it force you to be specific? Are you going to end up with a bunch of hour entries that really aren't going to be specific enough?
So whenever you're logging a time entry, you should always add a description of what you're working on. I mean, you have to. The client's never going to pay an invoice if they just see 1 hour, 2 hours. They want to know, hey man, what did you do for the hour? You know, did you do anything? What did you do? I want to see results. So you have to always add a description every time you add a time entry or an expense. So on the invoice, it will show that description, and it will also show who billed for it, who did the work. Did the paralegal do it? Did the attorney do it? And the cool thing is that on the bottom here, if you could see, it says who was billed by. So Moore is the chief attorney, and his rate is $500 an hour. But if I select Eitan, someone else, his rate's also $500. But if I select, let's say, a paralegal, and their rate is $250 an hour, it will change the hourly rate based on who's billing it automatically.
Okay. Okay,
Good question. Very good question.
Questions?
I have a question.
Oh,
So
got
as
one.
far as like the timer function, would that be something like, oh, they walk in the office, you start the time, and then when they leave the office, stop that, and that kind of be your responsibility to work that function?
To the timer function?
Yeah, or it would show you like where you start the time or something.
That would be, and I'll let David answer this, but she said, when do you start the timer function? I assume that would be whenever you begin a billable activity.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily going to be when the client walks. It'll be when the client starts the conference with the attorney. But it's usually the attorney's job. Would that be correct, to start the timer and stop it, or would they turf that off to a paralegal?
It could be anyone, honestly. So if a client calls in and the attorney is very strict, where it says, if you call in and talk to my paralegal, you're getting billed every 6 minutes. If you talk to me, you're also getting billed right away. It's up to them how flexible they are, but there's 3 ways you can do it. If you want to keep track of every single second you're on the phone or doing work, you can do it really easily by clicking the play button up here to start the timer. And when you're done, you click stop, and it will open up a nice pop-up box to add the time entry. Really simple. If you just worked for half an hour, you forgot to track your time, and you want to do it afterwards, all you do is click new and do time entry, and you can manually add the time in, like 0.5 hours, half an hour, for example, 30 minutes. If the attorney gives you a long list and says, these are all my time entries for the day, you click multiple time entries, and it will give you a page where you could add multiple time entries in one shot.
I have a follow-up to that.
Okay.
Anyways,
She has a follow-up.
I can have a follow-up.
While she's thinking, I'll mention that I just saw yet another decision by an appellate court judge that talked about how important it is for contingent fee people to still keep track of their time.
Yes.
If you get hosed on the contingency fee and have to sue the client, you're not going to get the contingency, you're going to get your hours.
Exactly, because a lot of times the judges will ask you in court, present me with all the work you did, and you can't just make up work. You have to have detailed time logs, time entries, notes, descriptions, everything, and you're literally doing an export of our software, giving the judge that spreadsheet and saying, this is all the work I did, and then you'll win that case.
Okay, we've got 2 more questions, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember my follow-up. Is the timer like something that can be linked to the phone system, or how does that work?
Can the timer be linked to the phone system?
Yeah, as well as like this whole system.
Yeah, so if you're on the phone, will it automatically fire up? Is there something that you can do?
So if you're on the phone, it doesn't link with any phone system because there's literally thousands out there, but what you could do is you click New, and you click Log a Call. So there's actually a feature for that as well. You're talking to the contact, you know, what are you talking to them about? What's the description of the phone call? Was it an inbound call? Was it an outbound call? How long did you spend on the call? You start the timer. You always want to start a timer right away. You pick up the phone, you're starting a timer. And then you're putting in details as you're on the phone. So when you're on the phone, you're adding notes and notes and notes. You're on the phone, and you can either save the call, or you can save and add a time entry from the call in one click. So it's always easy to build a client. You always want to make it easy to build a client. A lot of attorneys lose a lot of money because they're not billing their clients properly.
Okay. And Julie had one question, and then.
So say your lawyer takes on CJA cases or cases at a reduced rate. Are you able to, when you create the matter, to reduce the rate for that entire matter? Or do you have to go through every time manually to change his rate down to the reduced rate?
Did you get the question?
No, a little bit. Repeat it. Yeah.
If you've got a particular type of matter that by law or by practice bills at its own rate, which is a reduced rate, are you able, when you set up the matter, to give that default rate to that matter only, so that you don't have to go in every time and change the billing rate?
Yep. So when you create the new matter, you're going to do it part of your homework. You create the new matter, and over here it says billing, and what's the matter rate. So the default is your hourly rate. Who's billing for it? What's their hourly rate? But you could change it to do a custom rate for this matter. For example, $125 an hour, no matter who bills for it. It's a friends and family discount, or whatever you want. You could do a flat rate. For your DUI, we'll charge you $10,000, no matter how much work we do. That's a flat rate. Or you do, there's a few other, but you do contingency. So what we collect, you will pay 33%. So literally any questions you can think of, we've done. We've added the features. I mean, we love feedback. So anything that we don't have, we keep adding, and that's what makes us really, really good. We keep improving the software. So people actually can request features that we'll keep doing on a weekly basis. And this is a page on our site which shows every single week all the new things we keep adding to our software. And that's how we stay ahead of the curve, and that's our one of the biggest worldwide. And I know that you guys got to run, so if you have any questions for me personally, here's my email, here's my phone number. You know, feel free to reach out anytime. I get back to emails pretty quickly.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This has been
thank you.
Excellent. It's been great having you. Let's give him a. So thanks.
Awesome.
David, hang on just a second. I will turn you back around to me and tell the class.